Yep. Your boy done did it. He bought himself a flip phone. So, the purpose of today's video is this. That's right. We're going to talk about my experience with this. Now, I've seen videos regarding flip phones and everybody talking about flip phones, and well, I've had one for a while now, and I hadn't really had a chance to talk about my experience with it, so I figured why not. So I bought this phone. This is the TCL Flip 2. I bought this phone a while ago because I figured, at the time, I was dealing with things, and I felt, well, I needed an excuse to get off social media, right? Well, this has helped. I will admit it. It has helped. It's a great spare phone. I recently just bought this, and I put a Telemobile SIM in it. So it does. So if you can look at it, you can see. If I can zoom in for you, I don't know if you can see that, but it does have cellular service. So let me see if I can adjust the camera for you so you can see. I don't think you can see that, but yeah, you can see that it does have cellular service. So it seems to be working just fine. It is an unlocked device, so I did had to pay a little bit handsomely for it, but yeah, it's an unlocked device, and I prefer unlocked devices because unlocked devices will allow you to use any carrier you want. So I could literally switch from if I wanted to switch from Tello, I could. I could probably take this to like Verizon Wireless, AT&T, whoever I wanted to be able to use this phone. Now, to those of you that have seen these and wonder, why would I need this? Well, I will explain why you would, okay? So if you're looking for a spare line, something that can get you away from all the hectic chaos that is social media, just so you can focus on your job or focus on, your hobbies or what have you for a little while, then that's what a phone like this is for. Only us Gen Zs are the only ones that really know how to use these things. Zillennials, Gen Zs, we're the only ones that I know how to use these things. Because look at this keypad. A lot of you younger people are looking at this going, what in the world? How do I use that thing? Well, crazy as it sounds, I'm gonna show you. So obviously, when you you use it just like that. You just click it. Like it's like a smartphone, but with the buttons. Now I can go in. Now I'm gonna show you. You can clearly see my Zuma wallpaper on there. Super, super awesome. But yeah, this is like your menu and all that. Like super, super basic menu. You can do. You got text messages. I don't know if you guys can see that, but it's because of the glare. It's the glare. It's hard to see this, but you got like your text messages, your call history, your contacts, all your bare basic things. Yes, there's a camera on here, but it is not the best camera in the world. This camera's like 2 megapixels, which is for nighttime images. Show you. You can see how bad that camera really is. It's just like a basic camera. Like it's fine for like nostalgic 2000s pictures, but other than that, you can't really do much with a 2 megapixel camera, So, you can kind of like see the camera right there. This button here, if you're curious about this button here is awesome. I love it, and I love the idea of it. So if somebody's calling me on this phone and I cannot answer the phone right away, or like if I don't have the time to, actually flip the phone open, I press this button right here. This answers the phone for me. By pressing this button, whoever's calling me, it answers the call for me, and it puts the phone on speaker mode. That way I can just talk to them like this, like it's a walkie-talkie. It's awesome. That's an awesome feature for a flip phone. Honestly, that's my personal favorite feature. A lot of people be like, but the phone doesn't have a flash. Well, there's another phone I have, and I'll show you. I have another one that has a flash. So this one here, this is the Nokia version of that same phone. This one's older, but I've had this one for a while too. This has a flash on it. Now the thing with this one versus this one is this one does not have expandable storage. I'm serious. You only get 4 gigs of storage built into this thing, and that's it. That's the downside with having a flash on, flip phones these days is having a flash on a Nokia flip phone, as awesome as the Nokia phones are. Like, this thing's a brick. I mean, you could these phones are about the same thickness as each other. I mean, obviously this is a track phone version of a Nokia, but the downside, like I said, the downside with this is no expandable storage. This one runs KaiOS. KaiOS is still a thing. Believe it or not, in 2026, it's still a thing. I thought it was gone by 2024, but clearly it's surprisingly still a thing. So, now I switched from... The reason I had to switch flip phones, though, was because when I dropped that Nokia, I broke the SIM door. So I guess I don't know where it went, and I couldn't keep the SIM card in it. So I said, well, since there's no reason to keep the SIM card in the phone anymore, rather than losing the SIM card, I just switch phones, So this phone does have expandable storage, but you don't get those cool apps that KaiOS allows you to have. That's kind of the downside, is this one is basically a modded version of Android 11. So you only get like your bare basic apps and, bare basic calls and texts. To me, it's fine, because that's kind of all I'm going to really use a spare phone for anyway, is like, really for, really technically for like, as an emergency backup phone, I got the emergency backup phone, like I said, due to family circumstances. I'm not going to dive into what these circumstances are, because it's not, my family circumstances are not worth posting on YouTube at all. Okay. But let's just say one thing happened because of something else, because somebody was feeling a certain type of way, and now that person has gone on a complete control smorgasbord. They basically just turn into full-fledged control freaks. So that's all I can really tell you, because I really don't want to dive into this any further, because I don't want to make it any more trouble than it is. But because of that type of circumstance, I had to get a spare line. I may get this phone unlocked though. Most likely the one I'm using to record this video with, it may get unlocked, most likely, because my lazy eye is so ugly looking. But it's like I turn my head. Yeah, you can see it. It's like I turn my head and it wants to turn with it. That's crazy. That's probably spooking y'all out, by the way. I'm so sorry. I'm not intending to spook you guys out. But yeah, these are great. I mean, you can see I got my cute little Chase sticker on here with my obviously already faded Everest sticker. But these phones are great for like an emergency line. Like if you need an emergency line for like a kid or something, and you don't want them to have a smartphone yet, then I could see you getting them one of these. Honestly, this is what I would probably start my kid with. Because I don't want them dealing, when they're really, really young, I don't want them dealing with the chaos of social media, at least until they're 17, or even better if they, that's the thing. I want to wait till they're at least 17 before they join, social media really for their protection. It's not so much to be, it's not so much to control them. It's just because in a way I want to keep them mentally safe from the depression that social media causes. Because I'm gonna be real, when I was 14, I got my first tablet, and that's when I slowly grew into the whole like social media thing. And because I originally was using like Facebook for like my games and like be able to save my game save data and all that. Then I started using Google Plus at the time. I don't know if any of you remember Google Plus, but I started using Google Plus at the time, and that's when that was the first time I ever fell down the social media rabbit hole, was with Google Plus. It was Wattpad and Google Plus. So it does, back then social media did have its more positives than it did now, but with everything going on now with our government and with everything going on politically, I personally believe that giving this to my future kiddo as a starter phone honestly would be the best decision. Not this phone in particular, not a hand-me-down phone, but like buy them a new one similar to this. I feel like giving them one of those as to start with, so they have a way to reach me or whatever, is a good thing, because I would rather them not be exposed to the hordes of social media, at least until they're 17. Really, because I care about their mental well-being. I want them to be able to, get through school no problem. And the only type of bullying I would even want them to have to deal with is at school. That's the only time I ever want to hear bullying complaints, is because they're at school. Not so much that I want them to be bullied, but so much that that's the only. What I'm saying is that if it's gonna happen, I would rather it just happen on school grounds than for them to have to deal with that online too. It's because the world's crazy enough as is. And the last thing I want to see is my future kiddo get hurt or worse, hurt themselves because they were tormented online for 10 plus months. You know what I'm saying? That's not something I want to see them go through. Because if they're going to deal with it at all, I would rather it be on a school campus. Not so much online. I would rather them use the internet at 17, where I know they're ready, where I know they'll be semi-mature enough, but if they're going to have a starter phone, if these phones are still around, or if they make a new one, or they keep making new ones similar, I may just get them one of these to start with, because it's honestly a safest idea. That way all they got to do is just text their friends or email their friends or whatever, because you get email on here too. So they could just email their friends. They could just, they can email their friends. They could text their friends. They could call their friends all they want. That's what I would rather see than to see them unhappy because they have a smartphone that's blowing up with 10,000 messages from like Instagram or something. That's just my opinion. You can take it with a grain of salt. If you believe your kid deserves a smartphone, then that's on you. I'm not going to parent you, or I'm not going to try to parent you or your kid. But my decision would be start them off with a flip phone first, and then let them grow into getting used to having a phone. And then once they're 17, 18, then let them have a smartphone and let them do whatever they want. But basically let them be free at that point, but I feel that's the best bet. That giving them the one of these to start with is a smart bet. That way they're not, dealing with that right away at 13 to 15 years old. But they also still have a way to reach me in the event of an emergency. With everything going on in schools these days, it's insane. But I feel that giving them one of those would be a great way for them to keep in touch with me in the event Lord forbid if anything like that happens, you know, and hopefully maybe there'd be a way I can come get them right away, you know. Believe me, I am willing to risk my life for my own kid. So if I gotta go get my kid, if something like that happens at school and I gotta go get my kid, I'm gonna risk my life to go get my kid. Okay, I'm that kind of person that doesn't care what happens to me. You know, I am willing to risk my own life to go save my kid's life. You know, so it's just the way I am. You know, like I said, the second I get that phone call, like, you know, the second I get that phone call, Daddy, there's a thing going on at school. I need you to come get me. I'm gonna be like, I'm on my way. I'm coming to get you now. You know, I'm risking my life to come get you. I'm coming to get you. You know, literally, I wouldn't even let the PD stop me at that point. At that point, you know, if I got to save my kid, I got to save my kid. That's just the way it goes. You know, because it's like, that's my kid. You know, I'm not gonna leave them in there. You know, so. You know, I'm honestly, it's the way it should be. You know, it is the way it should be. Like I said, the second they call me, I'm running up there. You know, risk or no risk, I'm gonna be running up there. You know, that's the way. It's really the way. It's the way a father should be. You know, and at least that was how I was raised to be. So yeah, that's the way it goes. So. These are great for spare phones, and like if you need a break from social media, a detox, maybe like a short detox, you know, this thing's really, really helpful. And like I said, this will be my kid's first phone choice. Start them off with that so they have a way to reach me, and then we'll go on from there. Now, I don't have a kid yet, you know, but when it gets to that time, you know, at least I know I'll be ready, right? So that's it for this video. Peace out. Stay awesome.